What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwin Hands. It's me, it's Jarrett. And Jarrett, how you feeling about the card on tomorrow as of this episode coming out? How you feeling about it?
Well, a lot of stuff has happened. Um, Stuff can still happen, but excited for a card that has been through a lot, even after all that it's been through. Not the strongest pay-per-view by far. Last pay-per-view of the year, I believe, and I don't know if it's lived up to that sort of title, but good fights everywhere, Uh if guys show up, it can be a lot of highlights. I think there's a lot of big power guys here, a lot of good grapplers. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. So you and I are just going to hop right into it. Fun card nonetheless. Here we go. Alrighty. So we're starting with the prelims, early prelims. I'm just gonna say them real quick. Uh, Billy Quarantillo versus Alexander Hernandez. That's actually a good fight. Oh, this is dang, they added more to the early prelims. Yeah, TJ Brown, Eric Silva, good stuff there. But let's get in the first prelim of the night. Chris, this is on ESPN2, I believe. Yes. Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. Um, Chris Curtis coming off a loss against Jack Hermanson. Weird fight.
Yeah,
Joaquin Buckley's coming off a win himself, and I think he said that after this fight, against Nasruddin Imavov, but he lost to Imavov. My bad, but he beat Makhaev Durat. But interesting fight here. This is definitely gonna stay standing, and I think someone's gonna get knocked out. Jarrett, what's your thoughts on this one, man?
absolutely. I mean, Curtis looks a lot out of the counters. He was able to really utilize those counters. And a couple of his first round against Hawes, he used a really good counter. Hawes was really looking like he was controlling him. Curtis caught him with the counter. Real nice finish there. But Buckley seems like more of a variety hitter, and I think he has a little bit more power. I think, like you said, it's going to stay on the feet, and I think if I'm gonna give, I think it ends in knockout. So I think if I'd have to pick who ends up getting the knockout, I'm gonna say Buckley. I
I'm gonna
think
say I'm gonna say Buckley too. I mean, Curtis is mainly a boxer, and like you made the good point there. Joaquin Buckley is a lot more diverse in his strikes, so that's where I see Buckley getting the win by knockout.
Buckley's got good cardio. He showed that versus Imavov. So
Yeah, for sure. All righty, Dacha. I'm gonna get it, Jarrett. Lungiambula, there we go, versus Edmund Shabazian. I did it, man. Shabazian cut ties with Taverdian, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I was seeing something about that.
That was the best move he could possibly make.
Yeah,
Like he was Shabazian was holding him back. And
yeah,
I think, throw out a couple theories here, but if Ronda Rousey left Shabazian, I think she could have held the title for longer for a more diverse skill set. But that's another thing. But Shabazi needs to get back on track. Losses to Hermanson, Brunson, that was unfair. And Nasruddin Imamov, he's lost to a lot of good guys. He hasn't fought in over a year. He needed that year off. What's your thoughts on this one, man?
absolutely. I think a lot of those, the big factor was the cardio. Big part of what I heard, what I was seeing. That he switched camps was also he wasn't happy with his cardio. So like you said, his losses are very quality losses, but they're three in a row. That's not a lot of momentum going into this one. And Lungambula is it's still a young career for him, 2-4 in the UFC. He has one finish against Daquan Townsend. That's in his debut. He's also been finished three times. He's powerful, he's athletic. He has one takedown in 5 of 6 of his fights, and he had 5 takedowns in his last 3 fights. So he's also very good in judo. So this is a weird matchup for Shabazian to come back to after that drought, and the place that he's in. This is a very tough matchup to come back to.
It is. It's a tough matchup, and like you said, Lungiambula's trying to get back into it a little bit. You know, so I mean, he's on a 3-fight skid, and I think they're just trying to give, I hate to say it, but I think Shabazian might be they're trying to give him somebody to get him back on track a little bit. But so because of that, I'm going Shabazian. I think he could. I mean, his groundwork's phenomenal. I think he's going to take it to the ground, do work there, get it by submission. What do you think,
I was
man?
gonna I was gonna say Shabazian by a unanimous decision. So,
All righty.
but I agree if he has that cardio under control, he could definitely push to get a finish there
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Oh, definitely, man. All right. Man, Chris Dawkins doesn't get a break. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Chris Dawkins. I actually saw Chris Dawkins' last fight in person. He should move down to 205, I believe, but we're talking heavyweights here. Rozenstruik, kickboxer, Dawkins boxer, and he has the jits to get it done. But I don't know about this one, man. I mean, Chris Dawkins' last 2 fights were Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades, and he got knocked out. But I hate to say it, but I don't see it going any different against Rozenstruik.
No, me neither. I have Rosenstrike by KO, even though I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's a fairly close fight, but I think I'm still giving the edge to Rosenstruck. Once again, like we said about Chris Curtis, Rosenstruck's a very counter striker, waits for you to rush in. I think he's a better striker and he has more power than Dawkins for sure. Dawkins' highest win is against Abdurakhimov. He's also beaten Olenek, but he either KOs or gets KO'd. So I'm gonna give the edge to Rosenstruck definitely because I think he's a better striker and has more power.
Yeah, I think Rozenstruik might knock him out, but Dawkins is one of my favorites. If he loses this, I hope he comes to his. Well, I actually asked him on Twitter, have you in the comments section, would you consider moving down to 205? And he said he would. So I hope he might do that. All right. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Raul Rosas versus Jay Perrin. Rosas, he is a senior in high school. Make his UFC debut at 6-0 against Jay Perrin, 10-6. Not the greatest UFC career. He's lost his 2 fights. This is probably the last fight on his contract.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate to say it, but I mean, Rosas is young and has promise, but at the same time, he's 18. He is a kid in the UFC.
Like the parent not only is 0-2 in the UFC, he's also 0-2 in Bellator and he's 0-1 in the Contender Series. And this is a really bad matchup for him against Raul. But like you said, he turned 18 2 months ago. You know what I mean? So he's a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. He keeps control. You saw the pretty flashy, almost submissions in his decision in the Contender Series. This is a really good matchup for him to help him develop. But that's the big problem with Raul is you need to wait for him to develop. Like he's a fresh 18-year-old kid. Like this is a type of talent where like if you want to see him develop properly, you're maybe looking at 1, maybe 2 fights a year for the next couple years, and you got to give him a couple more softball tosses, I feel, because he's not nearly as strong or as fast or as durable as what these older guys are. So I'm going to give Raul the edge in this one. Even though I think it's going to be a decision against a weak UFC fighter, all respect to Jay, obviously, but a weak UFC fighter. He is 0-2. I'm going to give Raul the edge, though, on a decision. I would love to see him work a submission, maybe step up a little bit, get something working. But like I said, great wrestler, great grappler. As long as he doesn't stay on the feet too long, Jay's not very dangerous. So hopefully he just gets control and either pushes his way to a UD or a submission if he can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Rosas might. I think he'll win it, but it's 50-50 for me. Then again, like I said, we both said he is a child,
Yeah.
so he's going
He
up
had to
against
have
a grown man.
he had to have his parents sign off for the Contender Series. Like
That's right. Yeah, because he was 17.
that's crazy, man.
That's
That's
wild.
crazy.
Anyway, let's head up to the main card. Dude, people's main event. Well,
Mhm.
the hardcore's main event right here. People's main event is Patty, but this is the hardcore's main event. Bryce Mitchell versus Ilya Topuria. Bro, I have been waiting for this fight. This fight is going to be awesome. Uh,
Yeah,
Bryce,
yeah,
Bryce
very
Mitchell, first off, that one loss is off Ultimate Fighter. His professional career, he's undefeated. Just know that. Um, I don't know why they include it, but that's not my business. Ilya Taporia, before the UFC, grappler could submit you anywhere. But once he got to the UFC, he all of a sudden got thunder in his hands, and he's been sparking people.
yeah.
What's your thoughts on this one, man?
Well, Tapura's fight against Jai Herbert, that shows just a little bit how promising Tapuria is. He was losing that fight. Jai was really touching him up, and then Ilya was able to find his way to a knockout there, and he took that one on a week's notice. So, he's 4-0 in the UFC, three KOs or TKOs, and those were his last three wins. So it's like that's he's got a lot of stuff going into this one. But then Mitchell is a lot of people's favorite fighter. I think he's got, just about the same momentum. He's more of a decision slash unanimous decision type guy. He has unanimous decisions over Edson Barbosa and Andre Fili. So he's a relentless pressure too. I think this is a toss up. I think if it goes to the ground, it's going to be even more of a toss up on who's going to get the decision. But I'm going to give the edge to Ilya, and I think he gets it done by knockout.
Here's my thing: if Bryce Mitchell can't take it to the ground, he's gonna get sparked. There's no. Jai Herbert has the longest reach in lightweight division. Tapuri doesn't even fight up there. He just took, I'm going to take this fight. And once he figured out the range, that's the one time I've ever done a stank face, like to the television. Like, oh my gosh, that was gnarly. But I think that, like you said, once it gets to the ground, we see Bryce Mitchell. He attempts twisters like it's his bread and butter, which is insane. But Topuria is a fantastic grappler as well.
Mhm.
I mean, he took what's his face, Jai Herbert to the ground after eating a head kick. So he's very aware down there. So I'm gonna take Topuria by knockout. I want that to happen. I think that will happen. All righty. The Gorilla Darren Till versus Dricus du Plessis. The South African is going up against the Scouser and Darren Till. Darren Till, he's been on a little skid as of late, losing to Robert Whitaker. Very competitive fight. It was a very competitive fight. And then he got subbed by Brunson back in September off a bum knee. Du Plessis, he's very good, but he needs to slow down against Darren Till because I think he might get he'll get his chin touched
Yeah,
if he goes in there like he usually does.
absolutely. Till's other two losses are solid too, with Masvidal and Woodley. So he's been around, but I mean, to say he's been in a rough stretch is to say the least. Absolutely. I'm really hoping he can get back up. Comes in the best form possible. You can't really go in and talk about matchmaking and like say like, whoa, he's going through all this. Like, don't expect his best. Like, you got to look at these fighters like they're at their best to make the true decision. And I feel like if he's on his best, he's really a tough matchup for Du Plessis. But Plessis pretty really good. 5-0 last five. He was 0 for 7 on takedowns versus Tavares, though. But like you said, he rushes forward. So he's not very good on the mat, but can wrestle, can grapple. Better conditioning, I think, than Till, and I think that's going to make the difference. And I got Du Plessis by decision. I think this one goes to a decision.
I think we're gonna have a little bit of parity here, Jarrett, but I'm gonna go Darren Till by knockout. Until I trust. I love the guy, and I think, dude, he's looking shredded. He's never coming like this shredded since welterweight, so he's prepared. He went to Thailand, I think, to get his stuff done. He was a teammates with Marvin Vettori there for a little bit, so I would have loved to hear that. But I got Darren Till. All right, this is a fun fight. I don't know if you guys heard, but Robbie Lawler had to pull out due to an injury. Oh, I think I mentioned on the last episode, but Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Morono. Morono coming on short notice. This will be a catch weight at 180. Ponzinibbio, his last two fights have been so close. He both splits against Jeff Hands of Steel Neal and Michel Pereira rather. I apologize, but I mean, and then before the Neal fight, a fight of the year contender against Miguel Baeza. But Morono's been on a streak himself, beating Cerrone. He's knocked out a couple guys in a row. So man, new UFC website angers me, but
It's been frustrating me all week looking at stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Apologies,
I love the design. Just touch it up a little bit, please. But oh yeah, beat on a 4 fight win streak against Cerrone, Zawada, Gall, and Semmelsberger. So good fight here, man. Before Ponzinibbio's health problems, he was streaking, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
You know, Marana, this is a good fight to take. You know, riding a little bit of lightning. Last 3 fights were wins by unanimous decision, and then he had the TKO over Cowboy. Um, I'm still gonna give just because he's on short notice, and I'm really one of those guys who's always skeptical against guys who are going into a fight on short notice. I'm gonna take a Santiago by decision.
Yeah, I think Santiago Ponzinibbio is really good, especially on a short notice thing like this. A little too good in this type of situation. So I'm gonna take Ponzinibbio. But hey, good matchup here. I wish they gave him time to prepare because that would have been a really fun fight. And it still will be. But all right, the people's main event, Patty the Batty Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. This is a challenge for Patty, and I can't wait to see how he goes by this. Luigi Vendramini, Kazula Vargas, and what's his face? Who did Pimblett fight last?
Um, Levitt.
Jordan Levitt, yes. Um, subbed the latter two, and the former he knocked out. But Jared Gordon he's a tough test, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Gordon's been around for a while. You know, he had a loss to Oliveira back all the way in 2019. He only has one finish that was in his debut, but in his last fight he landed 5 times as many strikes as Leonardo dos Santos, and also defended 3 takedowns. So you know, however Patty decides to get it to the ground to get to his grappling, he may struggle with that. You know, and that 5 times as many strikes in his last fight really shows how tough Gordon can be on his feet. And absolutely, like you said, this is a tough matchup for Patty. And hopefully he really, really steps it up. And I think if he finds a way to get to the ground, he can push to, I think he either gets a decision, but I want to see a submission out of him. I want to see Patty get a submission.
Yeah. Jared Gordon made the point. I'm not afraid of anything after what he's been through. He's been through a lot. Look into his story, man. Uh, drug issues, he had some problems, things that happened to him as a child, but inspiring story. So, if you think you're having a bad day, look at this guy and say, I can get through it. But anyway, I think Jared Gordon will win. I really do. My gut's telling me it. And if they I am confident that if they put Patty Pimblett up against a competent striker, you get knocked out. And I don't think Jared Gordon's quite there yet with his striking, but I think he's a better striker than anyone that Patty's faced. And on the ground, especially with his wrestling, I do think he can give Patty some challenges. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I said I think Patty's gonna get it done by decision. Just gonna find a way to squeak it out. I think, you know, crowd noise also does play a factor sometimes into the judges' scorecard. And Patty's getting that Gordon's not too dangerous, but it's gonna be a test. I think Patty squeaks by a decision, even though I'd really like to see a submission out of him.
Yeah, I got Jared Gordon by decision, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about Patty again in a sec. But oh man, supposed to get Yuri versus Teixeira, but things happen. But good news for Glover, he will get the next title shot. I think Dana White said that on Patty's podcast. But we're here to talk about Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev. Um, good. Couldn't ask for a better backup plan, I guess.
Yeah,
But, this is a tough one, man. Magomed Ankalaev is really, 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 really good.
yeah. Um, it like you said, it's about as tough of a backup option as it gets. I'm really excited for this one. Of course, Jan's last loss was to Glover, also lost to Alexander Gustafsson. Um, he lost to Anderson by unanimous decision, which he avenged later. But he's got wins over Rasic, Adesanya, Reyes, Kirillov, Cannonier. Like Jan's been around here for a long time, but Ankalaev he's tough, man. You know, another Dagestani fighter who's just working his way up the ranks. You know, and he's starting to take out light heavyweight contenders too. You know, wins over Krylov, wins over uh Smith. He's got two KOs versus Kudalaba. There's another one I'm missing in there. Uh, Odesmir.
Volkan Oezdemir.
There you go. Yeah, but his one loss was to Paul Craig by a triangle choke in like the very last bit of the fight. So I think it's gonna. I don't see a knockout. I think it's gonna go the distance. I think it's gonna be close. I think both fighters are gonna be uh, pretty precautious of what they're doing. They don't want to get caught. I'm gonna go Ankalaev by decision. Main event.
Yeah. As much as I love Jan Blachowicz, I think, and the reason I want Jan Blachowicz to win is so he can beat Glover Teixeira, and then you'll fight Yuri, and then we got a Czech Republic versus Poland light heavyweight title. I hope that's what happens, but I don't think that's gonna happen, sadly. I think Magomed Ankalaev beats him. I think it's gonna be like ground and pound, like third round. And if it's not that, it's gonna be Ankalaev by decision. I think Blachowicz by knockout is the last, last option because Blachowicz isn't winning a decision against this guy. So I got Ankalaev by TKO. But there we go. That's 282. Great card. Interesting things have happened in the MMA world. Not concerning fights, but I mean, all right. So if you didn't hear, if you pay attention to MMA, you know Paddy Pimblett and Ariel Helwani have a little beef going right now. MMA hasn't had a decent beef in a while. But Paddy claims, Paddy wants money for interviews now and such. Helwani wouldn't give it to him, and Paddy claimed that, Helwani's just making money off fighters. And, I'm not choosing sides here, but he made a poor decision going after Helwani because he basically just disproved everything he said. And it's just like, Helwani doesn't pay fighters because it's journalistic integrity, and he gets paid a salary for MMA hour and stuff like that. So it's an interesting situation, Jarrett.
Yeah. Not sure how I feel about that, man. Like that's making money off of fighters. Like that's kind of what I'm going into. Like, yeah, you can say I'm making money off of fighters, but like the fighters are making money off of what Ariel's putting out about them. You know, like Ariel's putting out these tweets and articles and talking about them on their podcasts, news shows, stuff like that, and fans are watching and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go follow this guy on Instagram. I'm gonna go watch his last fight on YouTube. That's revenue that's going to the fighters, then bringing their names up. You know, at the same time, you could write this off that this is publicity for Paddy. You know, a fight coming up, he wants to get some stuff stirred up, and he's been stirring stuff up for weeks. We talked about that last week with how he's been in the news trying to spar Jake Paul. Like, dude, you got a fight coming up in 2 weeks. Why are you focused on that? So you could say it's publicity for Paddy, but I don't know. It's a very, very different situation.
I agree, man. You make a good point. Like, it's just an odd situation. I don't know, but
I thought
um,
Dana did Dana announce Usman Edwards?
ooh, yes. So I know the London pay-per-view was announced. I'm sure Usman and Edwards are headlining it. I think that's like the
I don't remember when it is.
third week of March. I think it's UFC 286. Let's take a look. I'm taking a look right now. Yes,
Can you share?
London in March 2023, March 18th. So there we go. That'll be a fun little tussle. But they're doing it O2 and not Wembley. So tickets are gonna sell out in an instant. Which stinks because Wembley has a roof now. So it is what it is. But yeah, that'll be a fun card, whoever gets put on it. But yeah, that'll be fun. I can't wait. What else has been
Yeah.
going on?
TJ Dillashaw retiring.
Ah, yes. So it is confirmed. I know on what Tuesday's show I said it's not confirmed, but Helwani confirmed it. Some people are like, oh, he's just retiring to, get on the juice and heal up. I'm like, dude, he's 36, 37. I don't think he doesn't need to fight.
Especially not with a messed up shoulder. Like,
No.
take 2 years to recover, and then you're pushing 40. Like, nah, I'm good. Just you had success. Like, just he's made the money. You're good, man. Like, no. I
Yeah.
mean, Cejudo put his. That's what Cejudo really got me to see. People were saying that, like, Cejudo made a whole bunch of tweets about how he's trying to get out of the USADA testing pool and stuff. Like, that's all this is. I'm like, I honestly, I like Henry just because he's a wrestler, but he's just trying to stay relevant at this point. Like, just bringing up stuff that I don't know, doesn't really have any weight to it, but
Yeah. I
could
don't
be.
know.
Yeah,
It's
you never.
fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fighters. Let them speak their minds. It's fun. But Dana White revealed what happened to Yuri. Yuri's at the gym. His shoulder popped out. Someone else, I think people at the gym tried to put it back in. It tore his shoulder. Just go to the hospital, man. Go to the hospital. Dana
Yeah,
White will pay for everything.
yeah,
Don't worry about it. Crazy.
yeah.
I don't get it, but what else is there? It's been pretty chill. Yeah, UFC the press conference is like an hour before the recording of this it actually started right when we recorded this episode. So
Oh, nice.
oh, Dustin Poirier. We got to talk about
Oh,
this. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Oh,
What was did you so staph
what got
infection, he wasn't
into
responding to antibiotics. Very unfortunate. He just got released from the hospital, but he just got back in for surgery today. And now he's back home, I'm pretty sure. I'll check Twitter, but I think he said he was heading home. But dude, what that was, I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it was. Ugh,
It was grody. It, it
it was
was
disgusting.
it was
Like,
genuinely grody. Like it was bad.
what I think is funny, like, your foot looks like it's melting off, and you have like Twitter beefs with like three people going on. Like,
Yeah,
what
and
is?
he had this
What,
what
it was like a
yeah,
staph infection.
yeah, it was a staph infection. It was bad, man. That was terrible. But hey, he just had surgery. I hope it wasn't a debridement, but all the best to him. He's we love Dustin Poirier here on
Absolutely.
Thrown Hands.
Yeah.
Um ooh, okay, this will be fun. ESPN released their top 25 under 25. Number one is Usman Nurmagomedov, and I don't think I can really disagree with that. That dude is on another level.
Yeah.
uh Number two, Aaron Blanchfield. I think she could be number one. That was a beat down of Molly McCann.
Yeah, that was. I got that one wrong for sure.
Yeah, I'll just go through the 10. Muhammad Makayev, Michael Morales, Macy Barber, okay. Christian Lee, oh yeah, the one championship guy. Tatsuro Taira, he's a flyweight, he's very good. Hassan Magomedsharipov, younger brother of Zabit. Oh man, we miss you, Zabit. Come back if you can, please. But killed in medical school. But yeah, it's Chase Hooper's 13. Lots of young guys. I think Rosas was ranked at 12. Um, I'm very interested to see where he'll end up next year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very intrigued, and I hope the UFC doesn't feed him to monsters.
Yeah. Well, I didn't look this up or anything. Who was the youngest fighter in the UFC to start before him?
Ooh,
I was about to say I never like looked.
let me youngest. I'm gonna look up youngest fighters to debut.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this is important. Good thought. Um, okay, here we go. Sportskeeda. Nick. Nick D. All right, 5. Shout Sportskeeda. Nick Diaz. At number 5, 20 years, 55 days. Crazy. Robbie Lawler, 20 years, 51 days. Shout out Ruthless. Vitor Belfort, 19 years, 312 days. Sage Northcutt, 19 years, 216 days. And Dan Lozon, 18 years, 198 days. So Rosas will be the youngest fighter to debut in the UFC ever.
Hmm.
That's wild.
It's wild, and like I mean, obviously, great success to Rojas. I mean, he'd whoop me if we ever fought. But like, it's just that's a while. That's a while to be in the UFC, man. Like that's from such a young age. Like you can argue he's not even fully developed yet. Like
No, he's not.
out there fighting, like
I no
crazy.
one gets their man body in high school. There's a
That's
difference.
he doesn't have man strength. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, he's a kid. He's a kid. He's gonna end his career at like 55 or 70. He's not gonna stay at 135 his whole life.
Yeah.
There's no way. But I think that wraps the episode. This was a banger, man. Any final thoughts on this card or what's been going on?
Nah, just reach out to your college family members and friends who are through finals week and stuff. Wish everyone luck. Good luck to everyone listening who's going through it. You know.
Yeah, and good luck to anyone in high school doing finals too.
Yeah.
And in the few middle school, some middle schools do it. Good luck. Yeah, good luck finals. It's a strenuous time, I must say.
Absolutely. It's
But
been it's been week.
anyway, I'll say something. I finished undergrad yesterday.
Yeah.
So woo! I go on to grad school next month, and we'll keep doing the podcast. But anyway, Jarrett, thanks for coming on again.
All right, yeah.
So we'll come back with a review of UFC 282 sometime Monday or Tuesday. So that'll do it for this episode of Throwin Hands. We'll see you guys next time.